think everybody's back.
All right, we will go ahead and get started. Good morning, welcome everyone. So many to see so many of you online and in person. My name is Tracy Irby and I'm the director here at the Center for Women Entrepreneurs. Glad to see you here this morning. We are part of the larger Jane Nelson Institute for Women's Leadership here at TWU. And that their purpose is dedicated to preparing more women to take on successful roles in business and public service. Our 3 specialized centers provide women with the education to establish executive level careers, skills for building entrepreneurial businesses, and the framework needed to run for public office. I did want to say there's something special in your seats, and you can share this online. Tomorrow, the Jane Nelson is hosting Leading the Lone Star State, Texas Women in Public Services, and they have offered a free offer for WomenRISE. If you are interested, let us know before you leave, and we can add you to that list so you get the special rate for this all-day summit that is full of a lot of great, strong women in politics, including our Secretary of State, Jane Nelson, who we're named after. What we like to do every day or every meeting is go around and meet the people in the room. So we're going to do that here, but those of you online, you can put your information in the chat. So, and while the room is mic'd, make sure you talk a little bit louder so they can hear you. Let's start with you.
Heather, and I have Box Designs Company. We're a curated PR kickboxing company locally, utilizing local artists.
Ladies, if you want to start putting your business, your LinkedIn, your contact information, anything you want us to know about you in the chat, that will go out to everyone. And I did add the link to the summit. Just a little correction. It's actually on Thursday.
Thursday, sorry.
So
Adrian Davenport of Creative Designs by Adrian, and I do different things: cups, shirts, lotion, soaps. So I do anything.
Great, glad you're here. Other Heather.
Yes, I'm the other Heather. Good morning. I own Bright Smiles by Heather. It's a private studio where you can come get your teeth whitened without scary prices and scary fear of going to the dentist. But that is my background, is dentistry. Bright Smiles by Heather, and I'm right here on the square.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gabby Portugal-Owanaka. I am the Assistant Director for the Student Money Management Center here at TWU.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Holloway. I'm the owner of Lifestyle Transitions, and I'm an occupational therapist that prevents falls for your family, your neighbors 65 and older.
I am Dr. Keller Price. I'm a fitness, nutrition, and life coach with Healthy Fit. I also am a volunteer leader with the American Business Women's Association. And we have groups here in the DFW Metro that are hybrid, so you can attend in person and Zoom. And you can attend your first event for free on Zoom. And we're actually having our next event on Monday, October 16th, which is this coming Monday at 5:30. And the theme is 3 powerful secrets to reclaim your time and restore your energy. So I think that will be a great session.
Renette McIntosh with Glitz and Glam Events, and what we do is specialize in weddings, wedding receptions, baby showers, birthday parties, etc. And we also rent out our space, excuse me, on an hourly basis so that you can do whatever events that you would like networking, dance classes, whatever. So, yes.
Great. Your turn.
Hi, I'm Terry Roberts. 3G WomenRISE is from Philadelphia. I came from Philadelphia a year ago. I brought the WomenRISE with me. I brought the favorite treat that we sell in Philly with us since I've been here for a year. Everyone has loved it. Have not had a bad review yet. You gotta try it. So just let me know where y'all at and I can bring some to you. And I do weddings as well, birthday parties, corporate events, a lot of different things. So, yeah.
Great, glad to have all of you here. Sorry to put you on the spot as you come in, but everybody's introducing themselves in their business.
Okay. Wow, okay.
My name is Michaela, and I am a former teacher, and what I do now is I help schools. Let's see, I help school build technology program and integrate technology into their curriculum. And as well as I try to connect industry professionals into the classroom, because I can feel like, having the real life experience, someone who's doing it, someone who has done it, for the kids to experience. I think that's really helpful for them to understand what the career path is like and give them a lot more choices. And I also help placing students with opportunities for them to get hands-on experience, such as internships and volunteer experience and whatever they need to make the right choice.
Great, glad you're here. All right, well, let's get this started today. So I'm so happy to introduce our speaker. Haven't seen her in a while, so it's great to have her back. Kissena Sheets is the proud owner of KLF Funding Group, L.L.C, an alternative commercial finance company. With over 16 years as vice president in the banking and finance industry, Kissena's comprehensive knowledge and seasoned experience have enabled her to craft financial strategies that maximize her clients' credit potential and facilitate access to lending opportunities, fostering sustained growth. In addition to her role as a business owner, Kissena services as a Boots to Business facilitator and advisor with the Veterans Business Outreach Center at the University of Texas at Arlington, dedicated to supporting transitioning servicemen and women, veterans and military spouses in their entrepreneurial pursuits. Kissena is married and has 5 children. She spends her free time focused on God, family, work, and community. Kissena, we're so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much, Donna Lisa. I appreciate that. I am so grateful to have the opportunity to share with the women on the and men. I don't want to leave anyone out this morning. I know that you could be anywhere that in the world at this moment doing other things, as we're all business owners, but you've chosen to be here this morning. And I hope that whatever I share with you resonates, or that you can use this as you move forward with growing and scaling your business. Before I get started, again, I want to thank Donna Lisa and the team. Christina, it's so nice to see you again. I heard some people in the room that I know that I've networked with, but just having an opportunity to be here today. I am going to not belabor the moment. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I would like for this to be interactive. I'll go through the presentation. I'll leave time for Q&A. Please ask your questions here. If I don't know the answer, I will take your information down and get back with you. So I'm hoping that no one will leave this presentation with unanswered questions. Hopefully we'll have enough time to do so. Do I have the ability to share my screen at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and. Okay. I'm hoping that everyone can see my screen.
Good.
Okay, awesome. So today we're going to focus on, let me go ahead and just move forward with that, on business credit. What is business credit? I know there's a lot of talk out there about building your business credit. There's great information, there's not so great information, there's things you can build upon. Mostly everyone has heard the term business credit, but hopefully I'll give you a fine-tuned definition of what it is and how you can use it. We'll talk about the importance of business credit, how it can benefit you and your business, the 3 major business credit bureaus, and how to get started with building and identifying and learning and understanding how your score is calculated when it comes to business credit. And these are going to be our takeaways at the end. As a disclosure, I do want to let you know that I'm not a CPA. I wish I were, but I'm not, nor am I an attorney. So I just want you just make sure that we understand that. So what is business credit? In a nutshell, business credit is having the ability to gain any type of financial or loan lines of credit in the strength of the business. Really, you're using your EIN. You're not using your SSN. It's probably the best way to give a true definition of business credit. Right? It doesn't matter about the owner. You can be the owner, the president, partner. It is not determined by how much credit you have, what your Social Security, your credit score is, how much debt, etc. It's strictly in the name and the strength of the business. It builds its own profile. Your credit score, and I can't see my full screen, so I am so sorry about that. Give me one moment. All right. Okay, there we go. It helps you, as we move forward in this presentation, I'm going to help you understand what business credit can be used for. But the most important thing that I will tell you is that business credit can be empowering to your business, and it can definitely help you move to the next level. So one thing about business credit, that it draws a line between your business and your personal finances. One thing that I have noticed as a business advisor and even in the banking industry is that when people start their business, most of them will not create or open a business account. They'll use their personal account, or either they will open up a business account and they'll commingle certain funds, or they may go and purchase an item or get a credit card thinking it is a business card because it has the business name on it, but it really is linked to your personal side, because most banks will use your Social Security number in order to determine whether or not they're going to approve or decline your loan request. It's an easier way to get funding, and we'll talk about that. Higher credit limits. I'll give you an example. You can go into a Lowe's on your personal credit. We've all done it, or Home Depot. They'll give you a $500 credit limit. And you're in Home Depot like, okay, what am I going to do with this? I need a larger limit, right? Well, on business credit, you can actually get anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000. They may start you out with $2,000. See how you're going to pay and move forward. Next thing you know, you've gotten a credit line for $5,000. So that's just one small example. So that's what I mean with access to thousands of dollars. With your insurance, we all know that your personal credit score, when you're going to get auto loans or mortgage insurance, whatever that might look like, it is based upon your credit score. The higher your credit score, the lower your premiums. The same thing in business credit. I didn't know if you knew that, but yes, it is certainly linked. So those are some of the most important things to remember, and we'll hit on those later on in the presentation. So again, your business counts, everything is separate. Business credit is based upon the business's ability to pay. That is the largest thing. And let me share with you just a quick story. I have clients who come to me and they're telling me, oh, you know, I do have business credit already. And I'm like, well, that's great. That's wonderful. Tell me a little bit more. And they'll tell me, well, I have a business credit card with a big box bank. And I'm asking them, okay, well, that's wonderful. Tell me a little bit more about the card. Is it reporting? Well, I'm not really sure, but it's business credit. So one thing that how you can determine whether or not you have a business card without you being the personal guarantor is just the business name on that credit card, not yours, just a business. That's one of the fine-tuned ways to determine whether or not you actually have a business credit card that's reporting. Another benefit is that it saves time. We all went through the pandemic. We saw how devastating it was to a lot of businesses, right? We were unable to generate revenue. Why? Because no one was doing anything, but you still had obligations. You still had those variable and fixed expenses that you needed to pay. And so as a result, business credit, those who had it was able to leverage their business credit to help them during this time. Those who had not, they were going out trying to get loans. Of course, the banks, what did they do? They stopped. Their banks are risk adverse. I was there for many years. And so most of the banks were unable to determine, okay, what's going on here? We've never seen anything like this before. Yes, the SBA came out with a few programs, but of course, if there were some, and that's another story for another day. However, but I'm just trying to share with you, in those downtimes, you still can leverage those credit lines, those loans. Flexible payment options is another benefit. There are 60, 90, 30-day pay options as you're starting your business credit. Your personal credit in most cases are not considered. And I say in most cases because you can go out and try to there are some banks that will report, right? However, your social security number will be tied to it. Anytime you go to a bank, there's never going to be a time when you are not a personal guarantor. And that's why I say in most cases, personal credit isn't, because those are two different things. So with business credit, most of the time, you will not be a personal guarantor. Personal liability. Right? We all, as you know, if you decide that you go to a bank, you sign for that SBA loan, a conventional loan, your business doesn't flow the way you hope that it flows, well, there's recourse there. They're coming after your assets. You're going to pay one way or another. With business credit, you don't have to worry about that at all because it's linked just to the business, right? It's a great pathway to expedited business scores and lending. So the types of credit that you can get with business credit, again, I mentioned the net accounts. Net accounts is, you'll see a net 30, or you might see a net 60, or you might see a net 7 or 20. Office Depot offers a net 20. That means you have to pay back within that time frame. There are accounts, I believe Amazon is in a net 60. So there are different versions, and the longer you have business credit, the longer they'll give you the opportunity to pay. You can get lines of credit, your retail credit cards, retail meaning your commercial accounts. Let's say it might be Home Depot, it might be Lowe's, it might be Macy's, it might be Nordstrom's, it may be a gas station. Those are retail cards where you're only able to use it at that specific vendor. Right? Bank credit cards, of course, that's your Visas, your MasterCards. Of course, those can be used anywhere. And then you have your fleet credit. If you are looking for trucking, If you're trucking and you're looking to purchase a vehicle, then that's your fleet credit. And then of course you have your gas cards. So these are the different types of credit. I know people come to me and they say, well, you know, I'm a fix and flipper, or I'm looking to purchase real estate. Absolutely. And we'll get into that. The higher your tier, the more likelihood you are to get a larger loan or a line with building your business credit. Now, I am unable to see questions, so chime in if there's a question that needs to be asked immediately. Otherwise, we'll take them at the end. Now, you know, if you go into a room full of people, you'll ask, okay, how many people know their personal credit score? Every hand goes up. How often do you check it? I check mine every day, you know, and it's built automatically. Anytime you go for a loan, we're built on credit. Everyone has credit. It's unfortunate that most people who pay with cash never generate a business credit score. And when they need it, they can't get anything because everything is based upon credit. And so your credit is built automatically. You don't have to do anything. You go apply for something, it's going to build regardless of if you pay on time or if you don't. You're going to get a credit score. But when I walk into a room and I ask, how many of you know your business credit score? Not many people know that, right? Not many people know how to go about it, or if they even had a business credit score. Business credit is built intentionally. I always tell clients, it's almost like a puzzle. When you are looking at a puzzle and you throw all those pieces on the ground, where do you start first? You start on the outer edges and you build your way in. I look at that as business credit as well. You have to build the foundation first, right? You can look at the box and see what the goal is. You know what you want to do, but you still have to put the pieces together, right? You still have to know, what order do I need to build? I need to start from the outside. Oh, that's the same color. I probably need to stay over here in this area because these are all the same colors. They look like they fit and they go together. And then you start building from there. So it's got to be built in the right order. There are different tiers of business credit. You'll have a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I've had clients that come to me and, you know, and it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, just like your personal credit doesn't happen overnight. When you come to me and we start the tier 1 process, we'll walk through it together. Then you'll come back to me and say, hey, I applied for this account and I got declined. Well, that's a tier 4. You know, you don't have enough credit. You don't have enough trade lines. You don't have enough. And so that's what I mean by building it in the right order. I know we all get anxious sometimes and we want a full-fledged, okay, I need to do this, but then you have to backtrack. So it's done in an orderly process. And just keep that in mind as you move forward in business credit. So let's talk about the steps to building your business credit. And one thing I failed to mention about what it can be used for, I touched on some things, but maybe let's hone in a little bit. So marketing, if you get a business credit line at Home Depot, you get your free printer, your copiers. You can go to other credit stores and get cash cards. What do you call those? Gift cards. You can use it for that. You have the ability to fund new projects. If you're looking at advertising, you want to advertise on the radio, you want to use snail mail, you want to do social media content, whatever that might look like, it's available to you. It's a great way to keep up with day-to-day operations as well. Good. So let's talk about the steps to building business credit. So the first thing, and this word has been thrown around quite frequently, is your fundability, your credibility, right? When you're looking at how lenders are looking at you when you're building out your business credit, they're looking at what they see on your credit reports. They're looking to see what have you done. And to start building your business credit, there are so many different factors in building that out. But really, Lenders are looking for, okay, how much revenue do you have coming in? Let me see if you can pay me back, just like on the credit side, right? Your credit report, they go strictly by credit scoring. They look at all these other parameters, how many times you've applied for credit. Let's see what your utilization is. They go all these factors, but business credit really is simply how you make payment. How quickly can you make payment based upon the lines that I'm giving you? And we'll look at the credit scoring in just a moment. And that, I think, will help you have that aha moment. So when I talk about the different factors that go into your fundability, there are over 100 different factors when it comes to your business credit that lenders are looking for. So one thing it is, again, I want to stress the process. Now, can you do business credit on your own? 100%. There's a lot of information out there that will get you on your way, right? There are a lot of changes that have happened since COVID. Once there was a certain way that you could process and obtain business credit. Well, that door has been shut and now they've opened it and it's consistently changing, but the foundation of everything it remains the same. So let's go to this. So let's start with those foundations. Let's start with your business name. These are the things that you need to start in order to even generate your business credit. So you have your name, you have your EIN. Your EIN, that means that you've registered with the state. If you're in Texas, you've registered with the state of Texas. You're with the Secretary of State, and you've gone to the IRS and you've chosen, you submitted for your EIN. That means you're an LLC, you're a corporation, you're a nonprofit. Some sole proprietor, I will tell you, sole proprietor cannot build their business credit. You cannot build your business credit as a sole proprietor. I want to make sure everyone understands that. Even if you go to the Secretary of the IRS and get your EIN based upon a sole proprietor, you cannot. Your as a sole proprietor, you're still using your social. It is you. You are the person. You can easily go and form an LLC as a single member LLC. You want to protect yourself. So you cannot build business credit under a sole proprietorship. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that. Your entity type, as I just mentioned, your business address, make sure you are not using a PO box, right? Now, these are, now your foundations, you may be able to say, if some people may say, well, I've gotten business credit and I've gotten it with a PO box. That may be true, but as you continue to build your business credit to some of those larger lines, you're going to start getting declined quickly if you haven't already. And here's why. With business credit, remember, lenders typically don't have access to your social, your personal, your date of birth. There's nothing that they can use to help you with building to determine whether or not, personally wise, to determine whether or not they're going to fund you. So what they will use, they'll look to see, okay, let me see how much this business has invested into their own business, right? Let me see if if they were able to go out and get, it could be a virtual office. Let me see if they were able, let me go to the next slide, get a phone number outside of their personal cell phone. Right? Let me see if I call 411 directory to see if they are even listed. Are they viable? Are they going to be here 1 minute and gone the next? Let me see if they have a website. In 2023, there should be no reason you as a business owner do not have a website, even if it's a one-page, a landing page. An email, are you still using Gmail? Are you still using Hotmail, Yahoo? No, when you look at a business, if you are investing in yourself, there's no reason why you should not have a professional email. It costs $4 a month, right? When you look at someone who is, if they're a business owner, an entrepreneur, and they're still using Gmail, then you have the lenders are second guessing, okay, well, They're not even investing in themselves $4 a month to even look professional. These are some of the criteria that they are looking at and whether or not they're going to approve or decline your request. Just these small things that people that we take for granted. We're like, okay, well, this is how you can connect with me. Yeah, that's how we can connect with you. But hey, you haven't invested. I don't trust. I think at this point, you can close your business down in 30 days and be gone. Take my money and go. But if they see that you've invested and have done some of the steps, majority of the steps that make you viable, that build your credibility, they're more inclined to approve your loan request. You have a business license, you have a business bank account. Most lenders and businesses will use your bank account open date as the day you started your business in retrospect, because they're like, you know what, this is when they got serious. They opened up a bank account, so they're expecting something. A merchant account, setting up your financial books. That was one thing I will tell you, that during COVID, a lot of people did not qualify for the PPP or the EIDL because their financials were not set up correctly. And maybe they didn't understand or know how. That's when you get your bail team, your banker, your accountant, your insurance person, your lawyer, making sure you have these 4 individuals on your team, right? So they can help direct you accordingly. So I'm going to step one back. When I talk about the DUNS number, I've had people tell me someone charged me for my DUNS number. DUNS and your EIN, those are free. And if you're a veteran through the Texas Veterans Commission, you can get your entity formation set up for free. If you want more information on that, you'll see how to connect with me at the end. So I wanted to make sure that I took that, made sure that I hone in on this, because the other thing about the business address, if I Google you and I see the post office box, that also is a deterrent, right? There are so many virtual offices around that will give you a physical address. You may have to pay a little bit, maybe $25 a month, but it's going to help you with taking your business credit a step further. All right, let's see. So some of the ways that you can start building. Now, these are some of the vendors that I've used with one of my businesses. They're net accounts, meaning that these companies will say, okay, I'm going to give you credit, but you got to pay me back in 30 days. That's the full balance in 30 days. So watch what you spend. Now, to build your business credit, it only takes $50. Anything less than $50, chances are they may not report, but anything over before taxes will report. And you want to make sure that whoever you're using as vendors, ask them if they report, right? Ask them, or ask them, will they report? Some of you are using current vendors that will report. So go back and look at who you're purchasing from and see if they report to the business credit bureaus. Right? And with Dun & Bradstreet, they do have a program where you can enter that information in to see if you can get credit. It may be a vendor that you're using that's not reporting, but Dun & Bradstreet says, you know what? I think this person is on our list and they do report, but you have to submit that information to see whether or not they'll do it. They'll either accept it or decline it, but try it anyway. You never know. Because as you start building, these are the tier 1s that you hear so frequently, right? As you start building these tiers, then in 2 to 3 months, you'll start moving to a tier 2. Now, the reason why you get these tier and their short balances is just like anyone else, just like the banks. I'm going to test you out. I'm going to see how you're going to pay with just these tier 1s. If you're not paying on time, then I'm not going to trust you with tier 2. Right? So this is the reason, but these 5, there are so many others. Here's a list of tier 1 vendors to help you. And I love Quill. Quill, you can get anything that you need. It's like a miniature Office Depot. You can get cash gift cards, you can get computers, you can get paper, Summa. These are really quick reporting vendors that just, you want to get on the board to start generating a credit score. All right, let's see. Let's go to the next. So establishing your accounts. What I generally tell my clients is, do not purchase your credit card, your credit bureau, your business credit reports yet. If you know you have not done anything, don't do it. I mean, there's nav.com. That's a great company that will pull all 3 of your business credit reports. They have a summary version that's free. It really doesn't tell you a lot. You need to get the paid version. I want to say it's about $29 to get a copy of your paid your reports, right? But only do that after you start establishing your tier 1. Pull it after about 60 days. This way you can see what's reporting. I also want to share with you, when you do pull your business credit reports, you're not going to see Quill. You're not going to see Uline. You're not going to see Summa. Business credit reports are a little different. Unlike personal credit reports, they'll tell you who's reporting, whether that is Macy's or your Wells Fargo account, whatever that might. On business credit, it will go industry type. It might say wholesale goods, right? It might say durable goods. So it is up to you to determine. That's why I say do it strategically, because if you go out and you start applying, then you don't know who's reporting and who's not, because you're not well versed at this moment as to how they are reporting. So do a little bit at a time until you can have an understanding, or either come to me. I'm more than happy to help you with that. And so on this, this screen, you'll see Dun & Bradstreet. They have a Paydex score, Experian and IntelliScore, Equifax Credit Risk, and they have Credit Safe as well. These are just the different scoring names that they use. They're all 0 to 100. I think Equifax sometimes has a 300 to 500 score in there, but pay more closely attention to 0 through 100. Your personal credit score, you've got a 300 to an 850. Well, Dun & Bradstreet and the other business credit bureaus are just a little different, but you'll be able to determine whether or not you have a higher or low score. Anything over 80 is great. It's like a 720 personal credit score, right? So anything below that, you have a little bit of working to do. Maybe you need more trade lines. Maybe you need to pay a little quicker. Now, with Dun & Bradstreet, if you do gain access and it's free, they'll give you what's called a Duns Manager. And if you see that there's some sort of error on your D&B credit report, there's an area on there where you can actually dispute something that's erroneously placed, is incorrect, whatever that might look like, and they'll go and complete their due diligence and see whether or not, if there has been a mistake on your business credit report. So let's see here. Trying to, just for sake of time, I want to make sure that I have enough time here. So the scoring. So on your personal credit score, they use like a 24-month illustration on whether or not you're going to pay things on time, right? With business credit, they depict businesses the risk of a 90-day late, or if you are going to go out of business. There's so many different scores when it comes to your business credit, right? You have your stress score predicts the likelihood that your business is tightened a little bit. And these are on the Dun & Bradstreet. So they do have those they have a delinquency score. How likelihood are you going to go delinquent in the next 90 days? They have the supplier valuation risk. I have heard, and I'm sure some of you have heard, that you have paid someone or someone you know has paid a vendor and all of a sudden they went bankrupt. So you were out of your money, you didn't get it, nor did you get the goods and services or that you thought you were going to get. This is a great way to determine the likelihood, because you can research them and you can pull them up on your business credit to see how they're scoring. It's not going to give you all the definite information or defined. It's going to give you a letter model. It might say A, B, C, or D, the likelihood, or it might have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this way, you know, if there are 1 or a 2, then they may not be paying. Their business might be struggling a little bit. And I think I might want to look for another vendor if I'm looking to get supplies and services from someone. Right, so that's a great way to determine. There's also, it predicts the for the service supplier risk. You want to know if they're on the cusp of going bankrupt. You may not want to use them, but pulling their business credit is a great way to determine that. So when you look at the business credit scoring, I like to show this screen because it gives a bird's eye view of how it works on your when it comes to your business credit. When you go to Quill and they give you a line of credit, let's say $2,000, and you're a net 30, that means you have to pay within 30 days. Well, if you pay early before that 30-day period, then chances are they're going to give you a 100 score, right? It's all average. They're going to give you a 100 score. If you pay when it is due on that 30th day, you may get an 80 score. So again, we're looking at average. But if you start paying after that 30 days, that's when it's going to start dropping your score. Right? Anything 40, 50 and below, you're not going to get extended any additional credit. And how I know this works is because as I was building my business credit with one of my businesses, I just started getting lines of credit in my business name. I wasn't even applying for it. And I was like, oh, this is great. So it will happen. I have experienced it. And some of my counterparts have experienced it, and my clients have experienced it as well. So this is a good takeaway. So once you've hit the tier 1, you've monitored your business credit reports. You see that everything is reporting. Now you can start looking at those tier 2s, right? What are tier 2s? Tier 2s will start giving you those retail cards. What is that? Those are what I mentioned before. Those are the stores that you probably commonly shop, right? So you can look at those. It could be your Amazon, right? Your Amazon is a tier 2. Your Home Depot is a tier 2. Your Chevron, your Phillips, your gas cards, those are all a tier 2. I love working with my transportation people because they're always on the road. They don't get paid until they drop the load. Well, they can use their business credit to get them through that load. And then once they get that, they get paid, they can pay their line of credit. And now their credit score is being built. Right. So again, it is a process. Tier 3, you start getting more revolving lines. Right, you'll start getting that. And then there's one that's clear. I want to say that's KLEER. It's a Visa card. It's in between a tier 3 and tier 4. You can use it anywhere you see fit, but to get to tier 3, you've got to have so many, I want to say maybe 10 trade lines reporting to all 3 of your credit reports. And that's another thing. Make sure that you're building all 3 reports. Your D&B, your Experian, and your Equifax commercial credit. There's nothing worse than being heavily weighted on one and nothing on the other. Now, when you start, those tier 1s generally will report to D&B, but once you get that D&B built out, then you'll start going to the tier 2 and you'll start building on those others. And start with the stores that you currently shop. right? You will never know. A lot of people didn't know Neiman's. Anywhere that you shop, they will have a commercial side of things. The flooring stores, Nebraska Furniture Mart, all these places, especially if you're a realtor and you're looking for furniture to do staging, or you're fix and flipper. Those, I mean, it's perfect for almost any type of business. So the tier 4, those are the ones that are give you your lines of credit, your visas. Again, it's a build, right? It's not going to happen overnight. These are the ones where you can get the tier 4 and tier 5s, your vehicles, your Ford. I know you've all heard of people who have gotten their cars on their business credit without having to personally guarantee. This is where that happens. Don't go in. You see that your DMB is built out. You've got a 90 or 100 on your DMB. You have 100 on your Experian, and you think, okay, I'm good. You don't check your third one. You go in there, they decline you because now your Experian is low. It's not even built. It has 1 or 2 trade lines. So make sure you go to NAB and you're pulling all of your credit scores. You can also go to each business credit bureau directly to get your score. Right? So you don't have to Experian and Equifax. There's a business or a commercial side to that when you go to Experian.com. Look at that, or either type in business credit report. It'll pull up and it'll tell you exactly how you can go about getting it. Right? Let me go in. I think we're right at time. So when you're growing your business, don't stop. Continue. This is never ending. It's forever evolving. Continue, because as your business grows, you're going to need different types of financing, and you want to put yourself in the best position possible to get credit, right? If you have questions, there are a lot of changes since COVID. There were some tier 1s, tier 2s, tier 3s that are no longer extending. So as you start, if you want to do this on your own, as I mentioned, YouTube University has a wealth of knowledge, but some of those may not be up to date, right? And the worst thing that I want you to do is go to apply for something and then get declined because you're working on old data, right? They're no longer doing this. And now when it's time for you to get that credit, and you can, now that lender's looking like, okay, we declined them before. Now they're going to start doing more due diligence because of that. It could be opening up a can of worms. So just make sure you stay true to the process. Business credit, I just want to share just a small story on one of my clients. So I had a client who had a very well-established business. Everything was great. I remember coming to him and saying, hey, let's look at building your business credit. Business is fine. I've been in business for a number of years. I am wonderful. I don't need business credit. If I needed it, then I would have gotten it a long time ago. Okay, I respect your decision. So things happen. Wife became ill. He had to take care of her. Business revenue is not really coming in the way that it was. Went to his bank. The bank's like, you know what? Based upon your revenue, we can't extend credit. He's saying, well, I've been with you for years. I've run so much money through this bank. I'm sorry, right? We can't extend credit to you right now. Right? So he's stuck there. He can't get it. Then he starts using his credit cards, goes to another bank. I'm so sorry. Not only is your revenue, but your debt to income is too high. I can't approve you. Right? So had he, long story short, we've worked together. He's good. But the problem is his business hemorrhaged. It was hemorrhaging. And so had he built his business credit back then, he could have leveraged some of those lines of credits that did not report to his personal credit report. So it's not going to impact his debt to income. And he would have been able to stay afloat and not have these things keeping him up at night on different things that he could do and how he could do it. Life happens. We all know it. right? My grandmother used to say, keep living. Life will happen to you. The longer you live, life happens. Plan for the unexpected. Banks are risk averse. I love banks. They're my friends. I work for them. I've learned. That's where I gleaned a lot of my experience. But I will tell you, the qualifiers is so much easier on the business credit side if you work it right. You can grow it. So the last thing I will say, I'm just going to open it up for Q&A. If I went down every hole of it, we'd be on this call for about 3 to 5 hours going through all the business credits. But just touching on some of the important factors, I just wanted to give you the foundational information, and hopefully that you can use that to either move forward and grow with it, or you may have some additional questions. So I will stop and open it up for questions at this time.
So Kissena, do you want to put your contact slide up real quick, and then we'll stop share, and then, yeah. So anybody can take a picture of that really quick. And then if you wouldn't mind sharing your slide deck, I'll send it out to everybody if you're okay with that. And then, so we'll go ahead.
I'll forward that over to you.
Perfect. And then, so if you'll stop sharing, then we'll go ahead and do the Q&A, Kissena.
Wonderful.
Awesome. So the way we're going to do it, we'll do a virtual question, then we'll do an in-person question. So Kimberly, do you have a virtual question?
Yes, we do. On business credit, do vendors report the amount of the purchase and the amount that was paid?
No. So depending upon which bureau you'll use, in most cases for D&B, they report whether it's a scoring system, right? So, and I wish I had it that I could pull it up on the screen. No, it'll just show that you're paying on time, and that will generate your score.
Thank
Go ahead,
you.
Michelle.
Do you have two lists? The first one of what credit opportunities are at each tier other than what you presented, and the second list is, you mentioned 100 different factors that go into fundability. Might you have that 100?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
So she's wanting, you had mentioned 2 times the different tiers, right? And what constitutes building credit in those tiers, a list of that. And then also a list of those characteristics that those fundability, I think it was that graph that you put on there that had like 100 different things. She's asking if you have a list for both of those.
I don't have a list. That's just something that I don't have the detailed list. It's something that that I have in here just from experience. I just wanted to point out some of those. As you can see, all 100 weren't even on that list. But I will say the tier 1 is where you want to start, right? And then in order to get to the next level, the tier 2, you'll have to have at least 3 to 4, I would say 5 of those reporting. Build on your Dun & Bradstreet first, and then we'll move to the tier 2, as I mentioned some of those in there, your Home Depots, Staples is in there. Wells Fargo has a wonderful secured business card. I believe it starts at $2,000 secured. You pay that for a few months. I think it's like 6 to 8 months, and then they will offer you an unsecured in most cases. So you'll be able to close that, and they do report.
Awesome, thank you. Kimberly?
Yes, Anissa has a question.
On lines of credit. Now, I have a client that was recommended to get a line of credit as opposed to a loan. She had a meeting with the Small Business Development Center, but she was really hesitant about the line of credit. Business is kind of slow, and she was wondering, you know, that's why she talked with them, because maybe to float her through this till the spring. But I wasn't very familiar with the lines of credit. How does that work?
It's a great question. So lines of credit are revolving. In most cases, it's very similar to a credit card without the plastic. So you use it, you are, you pay interest on what you've used, and then you pay it accordingly. In most cases, most of them will allow you to have a balance. So think of it that way. It's just a line of credit without the plastic. Now, the difference between the two, what I tell my clients is, if you're looking at something that's collateralized, then I would do a loan, because it's the fixed amount. You know exactly what that is every single month, right? So it allows you to hone in on your finances, right? It helps you with those data, the operations of your business, the financing of your financial picture of your business. Now, if you're using it and you're not sure what you need to use it on, if you're not sure if you're going to make payroll, if you're not sure if how much gas, those variable expenses, then that's generally what a line of credit is used for. It's kind of a security net. It's those what ifs, right? So that's how I determine how to use one or the other. The other thing about variable is just that with the revolving, your interest rate can change. It can increase or it can decrease, right? So that's another thing to take into consideration, because if prime increases, her monthly obligation is going to increase as well.
Okay, all right, and it would be easier, I'm guessing it seems like it'd be easier to budget in a loan with that payment as opposed to the line of credit. Okay, so we can have that conversation later this week. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Anybody in here have another question? Go ahead.
Can you use a credit card to pay a credit card?
Can you use a credit card to pay a credit card?
That is a great question. You actually can, right? So, you know, when you get a credit card and they give you those checks and it's a cash advance check, sometimes it'll have 0% interest for 15 or 18 months, and you want to pay the high interest rate. So yes, you can pay one credit card for another credit card. I would do it in that fashion, right? But here's what I will tell you. In most cases, when that happens, they'll have like a transfer fee. It's usually $75 or $100, not to exceed 3%. Well, the way to get in that $75 or $100 is based upon the regular interest rate. It's not going to transfer 0%. And that's something that they forget to tell you. So the way to pay that off is to make your minimum payment and then go ahead and pay that 75 or 100 on top of that and let them know this is what you want to pay. So now your entire remaining balance is 0% for whatever that 15 or 18 month term is. Does that make sense?
Right. Go ahead.
So I had to purchase a vehicle for the business, but I wanted to put it in my business account. Can I switch it out of my personal to business?
Can you repeat? I'm sorry.
So
Let me turn my volume up.
can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
So I purchased a vehicle in my business, in my personal name, but I want to put it in my business account. Can I change it out later?
You can. If you want to transfer your personal vehicle from personal credit to business credit, you can absolutely do that. That's what building this business credit is all about, right? So if you are generating the revenue, you have enough trade lines on there, you can absolutely switch that over. Now, one thing I do want to make sure that you are aware of is make sure you are comparing your personal auto insurance with commercial insurance. You might find that the commercial insurance might be a little higher than what you anticipated. So once you switch that vehicle over, you're no longer paying personal insurance. You've got to pay that business, that commercial. No longer paying the personal, you're paying the commercial. So those small things I want you to remember and take those into consideration prior to making that movement, that transfer.
All right, Candace, last question.
Oh, hi, thank you. And thanks for the session today. It's really helpful, Kissena and Donalisa, everybody over at the Women's Rise. I just wanted to know, is there a correct time to begin this process? Because I was under the impression if your personal credit score initially it does factor. So is it better to wait till your personal credit score is at a certain level before you apply for the business, or is it better to just get it started ASAP?
Great question, Candace. Start yesterday.
Okay.
And so those foundational tier 1 credit, tier 1 lists, none of those are will pull your personal credit. Now, the Wells Fargo, when you do that secured line I told you about, the secured card, they will, because it's a bank. Anytime you go to a bank, they're going to pull your credit. Now, there are a lot of business credit lenders that even in my alternative financing, we do soft pulls first before any other. So if you needed a loan now and you're generating revenue and you've not established your business credit, and the bank is telling you no, we have some alternative lenders that I work with that will do a soft pull to see what you qualify for, and then we can move forward from there. So it's not going to impact your personal credit.
All right. Thank you so much.
Question, start now.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Kissena. We appreciate your time. And I think I saw in the chat, somebody made the comment that this was the most valuable information that they've ever received, and they were very appreciative of it. And I'm sure that goes across virtually and in person. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today. So just a few quick announcements before I turn it over to Kimberly and our virtual audience has a chance to connect again as well as here. So as a reminder, our Start Her grant is open. We're awarding $5,000 to 25 women-owned businesses here in the state of Texas. Applications are open until next Friday, October 20th at 5:00 p.m. Yes, 5:00. We don't take any more after 5:00. Our Saturday workshop is this Saturday, October 14th, from complexity to clarity, a marketing framework to bring your vision into focus with value building marketing. There are still seats open for this. This is going to be a really great workshop. Heather Steele and Randy Skinner did a little portion of it at Flit Conference this year. And when I heard it, I thought it was something that we definitely needed to ask them if they could expand on and bring it to our community. And so I'm so grateful that they were willing to do that. So if you haven't gotten your ticket, there's still plenty of virtual and in-person seats. Our next WomenRISE is Tuesday, November 14th. It's business funding, facts or fiction with our Lisa Dilks. She is a longtime friend and partner with the CWE and always has a lot of fantastic information. And then the last piece is our small business training course. We always do that as part of our Start Her grant training. And those trainings start the first November 7th. And it's every Tuesday in November. So the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, the 28th, and December 5th. And those are the building foundations. So library resources and business planning, insurance for your business, business finances, business entities, and marketing your business. If you are on our email list, that information will go out to you. If you're not on your email, on our email address, I know Kimberly can show you how to do that online, and we're more than happy to help you here in the room. And then last but not least, our Lending the Lone Star State. So if anybody's interested to see us,
It's Thursday.
it's Thursday. Yes, it's Thursday. So if anybody online, if Kimberly, you can give your name to Kimberly and Kimberly will give it to us. So without further ado, Kimberly, I'm gonna stop us